All right, welcome back, everyone. This is episode 2 of our RPG series, and in today's episode, I'll just show you guys what we're going to do real quick. In last episode, we created our little player selection here, so we can select a player and select, and now we have our player that's animated, and it's the proper player that we selected to, and we can move it around, and as you can see, we're showing behind the skeleton, and we have proper animation. And every time I stop, it goes back into idle. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to address is our little diagram again. So just keep in mind that a lot of the stuff I do is going to be done beforehand. Step 1 and 2, research and planning, I've already done. I've done all this. I know most of the stuff in Godot, so I'm just trying to teach it to you. But I've done most of the research and planning beforehand, right? But the implement is the actual video, so that's the actual stuff that we're doing. But I would urge you to do step 1 and 2 on your own or during the video. So pause the video. I will try to do my best to engage you as much as I can to do those 2 steps, but try to pause the video as much as you can to kind of think about these things beforehand before I just give you the solution. So if you're completely new to Godot or completely new to game dev in general, and you don't even know what a node is or what like a button is, that's okay. I would probably suggest you just watch the video instead and don't pause it too much. You can pause it when you're stuck. You can ask questions in the comments. I'll try to answer them if I can. But yeah, do all that. And that'll hopefully help you learn a little bit. My goal, again, my goal is to help you learn, not to just like sit here and code. So the first thing we're going to do, so I'll bring up this guy again. We're going to build a player. So in our player, we're going to have a few things. We're going to have animation, we're going to have movement, and we're also going to have something that actually shows our player. So like in this case, it'll be a sprite. So that's kind of giving it away. So in Godot, we have something called kinematic body. There's 3 different types of bodies. There's rigid and static. We are going to be using kinematic because if you know what kinematic means from physics, it just means moving. I believe it's not actually moving, but close enough. Now we'll save our player in our player folder, which I made off stream. So we're going to save it. I'm going to add it here. And now I'm going to add a collision shape. Our collision shape is just to, so if you were to actually go over here, hover this arrow, it'll say, consider adding a collision shape. So let's do that. Let's add a collision shape. And now if you go over here to the arrow, it'll tell us we actually need a shape now. So if we go to the shape on the top right, we can pick a shape. I'm going to use rectangle shape, and it's going to pop up right there. So I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. All right, and now to show our player, there's something called sprite or animated sprite or whatever you want. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use sprite. The reason being, I think animated sprite might be preferred in this case because we have so many separate sprites. However, the way I want to teach this series and do some other things later on is not helpful for that. So we're actually going to just drag our sprite in, and we're going to name this sprite idle. And then we're also going to go to animation. Oh no, sorry, this isn't our idle one. This is our idle one. Here we go. It's a 4x4. So we go to animation. And as you can see, we have H frame and V frame. We can set those both to 4 because we have 4 frames on each side. And we're going to rename this guy idle. And then we're also going to add our walk animation. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to call it walk. We're going to go to animation, set it to 4 and 4. And we're going to set the walk to invisible for now. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a script to our player. All right, and in our script, we're going to have a few things. We're going to have one variable for now, and it's going to be speed. So we're going to export it by doing export int variable speed, and I will do 80 for now. So what export does, okay, let's go over this one by one. So usually this would just work. So if variable speed equals 80, and this would, in Godot, and I think Python, it just automatically gives it a variable. And this variable is an integer, right? Because we've specified it here. But we're going to specify even more before we even set the number right here. We're going to tell it it's an integer. And export will actually export. It'll take out that variable and put it into our node right here. and on the outside. Now I can edit it and say 50 instead. Obviously, it doesn't change it in the script, but it does actually change it. So for now, we'll reset it to 80, and we can test that out later. All right, next thing we're going to add is a process function. No, sorry, physics process function. Physics process and process are very similar, but physics process is more used for movement and things that are actually done in the physical realm, I guess. That's kind of how you can think about it. So we can add pass for now just to avoid any errors. And then inside of our physics process function, there is a lot. This is where we're going to essentially check for movement. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go to project settings. I'm going to go to input map, and I'm going to add a few actions. I'm going to have up, down, right, left. And in all of these, I'm going to be able to move. So physical key, I'm going to add up, which is going to be W. I'm also going to add the up key. And in our down, we can add physical key, down. And we can also add S. We can also go to right, add D. Oh, sorry. And then we're also going to add the right physical key. And then in our left, we will also add A. Nope, sorry, I can't press enter. And we will also add the actual left key. Awesome. So now we have a bunch of actions that can actually define what these things are. Obviously, there's built-in ones already. So there's UI left, and it even uses like the D-pad or whatever. But we just want to make our own, so that's okay. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to have an input vector. So we're going to make that inside of our process function. A lot of the times in other tutorials, you might see it being done outside of the physics process function, which is fine. It's the same thing. But the reason we're doing it inside, either way, you have to have something inside because we're gonna reset it essentially. So we're gonna call it input vector, and we're gonna reset it to vector 2. Whoops. Vector 2 dot 0. And then we're going to do input vector dot x is equal to input dot get action strength right, sorry. And then we're also going to subtract that from input. Yeah, I will just copy this. So copy this guy. I'll have it right there. And we're going to subtract it to our left. So what this is doing is, if you don't know what the x-axis is, I would suggest you learn it in math. But the x-axis is essentially this guy, the red guy right here, and the y-axis is the green bar. So to walk to the right or left, we have to walk among the x-axis, right? So in order to check which direction we want to go, essentially, is we're going to get the strength of our button right and our button left. So if I'm not touching either of them, the original strength should be 0, right? Now, if I start pushing on the right, what we're going to do is we're going to have 1 minus 0, because my left I shouldn't be clicking on at all. So it'll be 1 minus 0. So now we know that we are trying to move to the right. So the input vector x is going to be equal to 1, right? So it's going to be equal to 1, meaning we want to go to the right. Now, if I did the opposite and I clicked on the left, it'll be 0 minus what? It'll be minus 1. And what's minus 1? Minus 1 essentially means we're moving to the left, right? It means that we're going backwards in our x-axis, right? So now I want you to take a second to think about our y-axis. How are we going to move amongst our y-axis? Now, I want you to just keep in mind, this is negative and this is positive. So in Godot, the negative is on the top and the positive is on the bottom. And all right, so unpause the video, hopefully, or pause the video, think about it, unpause. We're going to continue. I'm going to copy paste this. I'm going to say .y, and what we're going to do is the right. So essentially, think of it this way. So if this one is positive, so if this one is 1 minus 0 means I want to move down. So this should be down, right? Yeah, I'm right. Okay, I just wanted to double check my reference. And this one should be up. So now, if we're trying to move up, meaning our input vector dot y should be negative, it should be 0 minus y, or 0 minus 1, okay? All right, and next thing we can do is move and slide with our input vector times speed. So in move and slide is a simple function within Godot. Godot does this automatically, so that's part of the research. So if you did your research properly, you could have probably found it in or not our. I'm not part of Godot, but you could have found it part of Godot's documentation. They have a great website. Their documentation is really well built. I wouldn't say their search bar is good, but if you search it up on Google, it'll give you the right document. So the way you can research, so let me give you a research strategy. Let me open up an incognito tab here. So generally, what I would do is I would search up kinematic body 2D Godot. I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. And the first thing that pops up is our Google Docs or Godot Docs. And you can go into here and you can see what functions this node has. And you can see on the bottom, the vector 2D21, which is what we're working with. Our vector 2 is going to be working on the X and Y axis, which is what we want. There's a few different things. There's move and collide. Well, that's not kinematic collision. That's different. There's move and slide with snap. So you can kind of look at these and see what to use. There's also these two, but these are for platformer games, which we're not doing. We're doing a full-on RPG game. So now let's try playing it. Let's play, select, and we don't have our player in our world, so we're going to have to go to our world. We're going to add our player. Let's save it and go back, and there's our player. And now we can move. Awesome. Our player now moves fully well. All right. Just a few things I'm going to change in our world. I'm going to add a Y sort. I'm going to put our player in our Y sort. So what this does is it essentially sorts everything amongst the Y axis. So that way, in an RPG, generally, if I stand in front of something, I want to show that I'm in front of it. So let's add, I just added a random thing in our reference. So I added a skeleton, so we can do that. We can add our skeleton, and we can just change it to 4. It doesn't do anything, it's just there for looks. But now if I play and I go in behind the skeleton, I show behind it because the Y sort is sorting it as if I'm behind it. And then if I go in front of it, it does nothing because the skeleton is not in the Y sort. But now, because it's in the Y sort, I'll show in front of it or behind it, right? So let's take this out. I'm actually gonna, let's just take it out for now. One more thing we're going to do is we're going to want to add grass. So the grass is a bit odd because, okay, so in here, we can go to Tiny Adventure Pack, we go to Other, Misc, and we have grass. So one option you can do is just to take this and do that. That's awesome, you can do that, and it works because this has no actual grass, right? It has no grass, it's just one straight up color. So usually what I would do is I would search up texture, get texture rectangle, pop this in. I'm going to add it as our background, rename it as background. And now I can pop in texture. I can expand it. However, it doesn't expand because, one, we have to expand it. However, the stretch mode, this is pretty important. Usually I will put it on tile because if we have a tile, so here, why don't we try rock? So now it'll expand our rock essentially multiple times. If I were to put it on scale and expand, it'll just expand the rock over one giant scale or tile, sorry. So keep it on tile. And let's load our grass again. This is especially good. So the reason why I use this, if you were following along my other series, the reason why texture rect is a good background to use is because you can animate it. You can, in your texture, if you go into new resource, animated texture, you can load that texture as a texture, right? So you can animate this texture. If you have like water or grass that moves, you have animations for it, then you can use that. These are all textures. You can use all of these. I don't know what all of them do. I haven't done or worked with most of them. But let's close that for now. This is good. We now have a background that works. We can always change it up to make it several tiles as well. Let's expand it just a little bit. So we have a pretty big world. And then what we'll do, last thing in our world, we'll add a camera, not in here. We're going to add a node camera. So camera 2D, and we can center it by, we're not going to center it, sorry. We're going to make it current, so make it actually usable. And then what we want to do, okay, so this is a lesson. What I want to do is if I launch the game, we can see outside the world. So I want this to be my limit. So I want you to pause the video and think, how can I limit it? Well, I'm kind of giving it away by saying the word is limit, right? So unpause, hopefully you've unpaused. If we go to our limit on the right, we can limit our camera by where it goes. So we can press 0 and 0 for top and left, right? Because I don't want the camera to go off our world, essentially. So if we go back to our game, now our camera no longer goes off. And if I move, ooh, it just looks weird. There we go. I was wondering why I couldn't move a direction. It just looks odd because there's nothing in our world. There's no. Let's actually add a sign here. There we go. Whoops. All right. Now let's go back to our player, and we're going to start animating it. Not sure. Yeah, you know what? Let's end the video here. Next video, I will animate it, and then we will also add the player selection thing. So I will see you guys next time.